The aim of this topic is to actually um, create a sort of confidence in the minds of those who are pursuing a career in automotive industry, right? The fact is, the career of automotive industry or engineering is very broad. It's broad, and there are different ways that people are using to get into it, right? And I am going to use myself as an example. And why I think it's necessary for me to have this conversation is because I know that for you to be watching this video, you're either a car enthusiast, a car lover, or someone who is, you know, a hobbyist, or someone who is into the practice of automotive engineering. So in most cases, when people are trying to get into the automotive industry, they usually start with cars, right? And now I'm talking about starting from scratch, because I want to I want to use instances of we Africans, right? There are so many young people who are actually walking from the garage, which we call the roadside, right? Which is not bad, because it's where I started from, right? I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to tell you my journey, and I am going to actually tell you that if you're in that particular scenario right now, you can easily navigate it, and you can actually see that as a way to shoot your part towards getting your goals, getting to where you're going even faster than I did, right? Because during my own time, no one told me what to do, but it just happened, and I find it fascinating. You know, I find it fascinating and a good ladder to really climb, especially if you're starting out from the roadside, right? So, how did it happen? I started from the roadside from a very young age, age 11. So, the thing is, right now, let's say you're on the roadside, no matter how old you are, right? Just grab the basic skills, grab the confidence, right? Grab the knowledge around spanners. And of course, when you're on the roadside, when you're fixing cars, there is this traditional thing about the people you're working with. They wanted to tell you that you shouldn't leave until you're 6 years, working in the workshop. 6 years. Um, well, for me, I think that's a lot, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but for me, from my personal view, I think that's a lot of years to spend trying to understand how to lose the engine and tighten the engine and fix every necessary component. Don't get me wrong, it is ideal to spend 6 years trying to fix vehicles before getting the core knowledge about it. That is, if you're trying to practice in depthly, if you're just involved and fully focused on practicing. So it's probably going to take you 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on your learning level, on how much you are devoted to the art before grasping it. But here's the thing: learning, whatever you're learning, doesn't matter if you're fixing car or you're fixing any other thing. What matters is as soon as you're learning, try to have some resources like books. It's pretty easy. Internet, there's everything on the internet, right? To learn as you're going. Because I could remember how it was for me the first day, getting to the workshop. I saw inside the engine for the first time. I've seen engine that, like, I never give it a thought. I just feel like this is car, and when they open the hood, I just feel like I've seen my uncle try to put water in his vehicle. Like, I don't understand why or how or what is engine or and what is not, right? That is actually a the thought or the mindset of someone who doesn't know anything about engine, right? But and if you're starting out, that is how it's just gonna be to you. Everything is just gonna be like boo, baju, like you don't know damn about it, right? But when you go along books, right? One book I cherish so much. This book is very old right now. This book is very old right now. Essential of Motor Vehicle Technology. This book contains a lot, a lot of information about auto mechanics, right? It goes from the chassis to the brake to everything, to the engines. And the most fascinating part about this book is that it doesn't just teach you the concepts of the engine, like most of every other books. Like I have actually, like old books I have actually, find myself on. This book takes you around calculations, talk, and like it's crazy. There's as small as it is, probably not like maybe 150 pages, but it has so many calculations in it, and it's actually a very big guide. And one thing I'm so surprised about it is that this book was written by Nigerian Frank Ademulegun, because there are so many internet millionaire kids these days, and you're kind of feeling stuck, you're kind of feeling overwhelmed. You don't even know if you are in the right part, or you should just quit the job and get into streets and find a way to join the other kids to see what they are doing with the internet and see how you can actually make money. And sometimes when you take those decisions, you find out that it's not even that easy. You lose your trade, and you end up maybe taking drugs and doing other stuff that you previously never wanted to do, right? So, but if you remain kind of calm and just take it a little bit step further while you're watching this video, and you know and I want to encourage you that you're not in a bad trade. The automotive industry is so broad, and that is the reason why I want to take my time to bring out this video, so that if someone like you exists out there, this video can actually help you get whatever you want to get out of this industry, because it's really let me say it's the only industry that you can actually easily navigate if you have the experience without too much of papers, right? A lot of companies require papers. They love to see papers, they love to see your degrees, but they are much more interested in technical papers, because that actually shows that you understand safety, you understand industry application of things, and right, that helps them understand that you have built your mindset muscle, even to learn. Most time it's not about the skill. Most time it's not about you knowing everything that happens inside the engine for these automotive industries. Most time it's all about the mindset. They want to see that you have built your mindset, to the area where you are ready to learn, right? Don't never assume that you know anything, never assume that you know everything, never assume that you're already good to go, never assume that you are, that you were prepared for everything, right? In when it comes to, solving problems, tackling problems, there's always another thing to learn inside a problem you already know how to solve. There's always something inside a problem that you already know how to solve. There is something for you right there to learn. So it is actually an environment of learning, right? So that is why I say it's a positive industry, to actually find yourself if you're if you don't have that money to go through school. It is really good. It is good if you had the money to, attend colleges, university, go through being a mechanical engineer, coming out with a grade, going for your IT, then getting a job, right? It is absolutely fantastic. In fact, it's the easiest way to get into the office without, rubbing yourself on the ground a lot, right? But if you don't have those means, trust me, you're still on the right part, and you can get to whatever level you want to get to in the automotive industry, as long as you follow the protocols, as long as you follow some of these guidance that I'm going to drop you. So one thing that is very very important as an automotive technician, trying to navigate the industry, um, is to have a broad mindset, have this open mindset that you want to learn anything and everything, right? If, for instance, you're a mechanic, or if, for instance, you are an electrician, or if, for instance, you are a panel beater, you are a welder in the space of the automotive industry, um, there is this behavior around, um, the workshop settings, where you have to be an electrician, you have to be a mechanic, you have to be a welder, you have to be a panel, right? And it's good because it allows you understand a the core concept of this particular area of the field. It makes you pro focus on what that particular area has to do with, and it helps you, especially for the mechanics, it helps you get used to this partner, get used to, keeping your hands straight when it comes to boats, because you're going to come in contact with different kind of boats, boats that are in the tight place, boats that are, in the hidden place, boats that are almost worn out. So it requires some skills, some patience, some, some, let me say, magical inspiration to really, successfully take those boats out. And that is what makes the trade so much fun, so much cool, right? So if it's important. Like I love how they do it, the workshops. I love how they try to help people, focus on a particular part of the trade, right? But if you find yourself in that type of workshop, it's great. But I want to tell you that you should have the mindset that you are interested in everything. You might not really, dive into being an electrician, being a planner, being whatever, but make sure that you don't lose your eyes when you see those other people doing whatever they're doing close to you. Make sure you don't lose your eyes. Make sure you watch. Make sure you ask them questions. Try to, because as a mechanic, as you are learning, there is a way you think about your job, right? There's a way you see things. There's a way you look at things. There's a way you know, it's just the characteristics is just learn cough right there, right? So it is also good to fall into that space, that spectrum of how the electricians think, how they view problems, how they try to navigate problems, how they try to diagnose problems. You know, it's good to draw close to them because the workshop allows for that room. Because in the workshop you're definitely going to have all those people, right? So especially when you're not busy, when you're free and you find out that the electricians are working on something, use those times judicially, use those times selfishly for yourself to grab what you can actually grab from them. And don't worry if you don't understand what they're doing, but don't stop, checking in on them. Don't stop asking them questions. Don't stop learning the micro knowledge that you can actually capture from them, because those are what's going to build you in the future, right? So it is mostly common to start off with car, especially when you're young. It's easier, car looks smaller. But I want to tell you that you don't just have to stop on car, right? When you're working on car as you're young, right, it's good to focus on car and know that. But I want to tell you that in the future, in the next near future, it is good for you to kind of switch a little bit from car to heavy duty, maybe truck, maybe crane, maybe tractor, maybe whatever. And this is the reason, right? Um, Here's the reason. The reason is because when you're a car mechanic, you are priced very low in the automotive companies. I don't know outside of Nigeria, but I know that in Nigeria that's how it is. And secondly, if those times where you don't have jobs, right, where you try to survive, in some workshop, or try to get people who really owns car, to work for them. They don't really make your value respectful, right? They cannot pay you um they cannot pay you peanuts, right? They pay you what they like, right? They just try to play on you. Sometimes they call you and tell you, oh, please come and help me do my engine service. And when you get there, they have the oil, they have the feeder, they have the prods, and they tell you to fix it. And after fixing it, they give you 1,000 naira, right? They give you something that is barely your transport, right? And they just tell you that, I just call you, so you help me do it. If not, I know how to do it. What's there is just to drain the oil and lose. But I don't want to soil my hands, so I just call you to do it. So yeah, why you complaining? Oh, like they make you feel like what you've learned is not valuable. They make you feel like what you can do, they can do it, but they fail to understand that this is your trade. This is what you've learned. This is what you're trying to survive with. And also that for the fact that this is your trade, it is more than just draining the oil and tightening the feeders and all that, because there are situations where you can spot some things. There are situations where you can, come in contact with other things, and you fix it as a professional, which they cannot have that knowledge, or they cannot even have those, mind eyes to spot those type of things. So most times they don't really respect your trade, because most of the times, people, car owners in Nigeria, they almost know everything. Nigerians, we love to learn stuff. Especially when a lot of people are owning cars, and prices of everything is going up, and when they go to the workshop, they don't close their eyes, they watch. And so when they learn the little things, they watch YouTube videos about car fixing tips and all that. So they know a lot. They come with the mindset of knowing already what they want to do. But so it is very, very hard for them to really pay you good money. It's not like maybe in developed countries, where when you take cars service, they give you the least they want to do it, because you have to go to a workshop. You you barely gonna see someone you're gonna call to help you in those situations, just like it is done here. So that is the reason why I tell you that there is so much hope in the heavy duties. And it's quite intimidating when you think about heavy duty, when you think about haulage trucks. But I just want to tell you that it is easier to work on heavy duty than it's easier to work on cars, right? That's my own personal view. And it's much more fun to work on heavy duties than it is to work on cars. I don't know if it's much more fun. I didn't know how to really rate that metrics in terms of the feeling aspect. It has to do with individual, right? It has to do with words you find interesting. I think it's cool working on a car. It's really cool. It's just so, like, it's great, because you can really wrap your hand around the whole thing. You can really feel the car. you know it's different. But truck is just a different feeling, right? This authenticity around fixing truck, um that's quite different if you're not in that space. So the reason why I am making this emphasis is because once you're in Nigeria, and of course you want to make a living from your trade, so it is advisable from me to switch as quick as possible. As soon as you learn the core concepts of losing and tightening, you have confidence, just switch, right? Because that will save you a lot of time. And I'm not saying you should go away from car entirely, so but that will give you the room to navigate any industry you choose to navigate, right? That will give you the room to become a fit engineer in a car manufacturing industry, or a car repairing industry, or and then also give you room to heavy duty industries. And the fact is, there are so many heavy duty industries that are doing heavy duty services, right? And the job market for heavy duty uh, fixing doesn't really go dry as that of cars. It's easy to find so many car knowledge people. People can come from the technical school, and just get into the car industry. They learn alongside, so it is much more easier for the car industries to replace a technician. It's easier for them to find a replacement. Is easier for them to find somebody who can do the job, because most of the car companies their jobs there are not even so intense. They are not so serious jobs, right? They are mostly minor jobs. They just have few complex jobs, those cars that has really deep electronic problems. And but aside from that, a high percentage of the jobs they handle are really very simple issues, like mostly services and changing of parts, right? Most of the times they don't do repairs, just like the roadside. The roadside, you do more services, more of hardcore repairs, and trying to um, not make the owner spend too much money. But in the most of the companies, right, they advise you that, man, all these are bad, so we are going to change it, and they bill you, and that's how they make their money, because they have all that in the store. Um, you know, most of them are importers of those goods, and that's how they make their money, and that's how they actually give you the best, because you cannot compare something that is new to something someone just maybe buy, seal, and just try to service and walk around. Those things break very easily, but when you change a part, it becomes almost new. So that is why it is, when you spend your money to work your car in a company, it gives you have confidence, because most of the things they do, they don't try to help you save money. They try to help you save yourself the stress of always complaining about your car, always going back and forth a particular problem. So that's the main thing about automotive industries and car industry. So it's really good to quickly try to switch to a heavy duty industry. And the thing is, you can even get into being a heavy duty industry technician, from being a car engineer, right? They can accept you as long as you accept to go in as a trainee, and you have some certain proof to show that you are safety aware, because in heavy duty industries, the safety awareness is what thing they really take serious. So because everything is heavy duty, and to strengthen your faith around this, is because is I'm going to tell you that you don't look at how big a truck or a tractor is. You're not lifting any of those things. There's always tools for every type of repair. There's always tools. The tools might look bigger than what you used to. The tools might look heavier than what you used to. The tools might, or the parts might look even bigger, and all that. But they are pretty much the same thing, and there's always ways. So the important of this is it keeps you in the job. It gives you more experience, around the practice, and it makes you readily employable by different automotive industry, right? You can, you know, you can always be job ready, right? Into any automotive industry, whether heavy duty, whether logistic, whether it spreads out your chances of getting employed very easily, because so many industry use, in fact, every industry makes use of heavy duty truck, right? Because of movement of goods, conveying. So there are so many logistic companies. So when you find logistic companies, you're always going to find repair sections, right? When you find heavy duty dealership companies, you're always going to find repair, right? When you find um, service sales and all that firms, there's always going to be need for professionals, right? And so it just goes on and on and on. And you know, depending on your age and as soon as you get into your first industry, whether car, um, or whether heavy duty, anyone you get into, try as much as possible if you don't have um, a way to really get your um, your further education. Try as much as possible to um, get some technical certificates. There are some certificates that you can really apply to, and you can some of them you can do them online. You know, full auto technical educations. If you need that, just feel free to hit me up. I will guide you from start to finish on how to, grab some certificates that automakers really love when they see it. It is also very good to get the federal government, accredited trade test, because once you have the federal government trade test, you are, seen as a professional. So I have good schools I recommend where you can take your trade test, and it won't, take you too much of your time. It's just going to be a few months, you're done. And one thing about the automotive industry is that they love to see that you are advancing in your academics, especially around the technical work frame. In fact, for themselves, as you are working in an automotive company, they are trying their possible best to train you, you know, uh, on the trade, even helping you get some company certificates, even some outside, product certificate, like product dealership certificate. They help you get that to, strengthen your confidence and strengthen your knowledge, and help you, be in that learning structure, right? Because as an automotive professional, you are a student, right? You are a student in that art. You don't there's you don't fade out on learning, right? I met someone some time ago, and on the screen of my laptop is actually an electronic digits, electronic digits, and the schematic of a very big electronic digits. And he saw that, and he said he remember when he was in school and doing all this, right? So these are things that are normal, right? As an automotive professional, you draw yourself to things that keep you fresh, right? There's nothing like when I was in school. You're always in the mindset of advancing yourself. And I am not only trying to tell you to dive into heavy duty. It's completely depends on you. It's completely much more. What's much more important is what you love, what you want to do, what you find pleasure. The love, the the feeling is mostly important. If you find yourself that you are captivated about cars, you want to do cars all your life, you want to advance in cars, that's fantastic. And you can really grow in cars, because there are different areas. Even if you don't like the fact of using the spanners, and being so much into spanners, you know um modeling is another field that is really important in in the automotive industry, designing, you know, learning some hard some 3D and solid work, and all these design tools. When you have the knowledge of this software, you are as well so much important in the industry. Heavy duty, light duty, car, whatever, you're important. And so if you are in a car and you love to be in the car industry, my advice for you is be versatile. Think about the emerging technologies. Think about everything that's happening in the automotive industry, because um, the car industry is fast changing. So no matter the level you are, put yourself in that space where you try to be curious, be very, very curious. Try to be in the pace. Try to understand what's going on in the hood. Try to understand what's going on in the architecture. Try to understand everything that's going on in the environment. Be at the pace of those who are practicing. Be very close to professionals. Be very close to people talking about everything that's happening in the automotive space. Be very close to audio learning. Make audio learning part of your music. Don't I know most people, they play music with their phones, which is good, and they do that, even when they are kind of trying to pass the time, not necessarily listening to the song. And I want to tell you that most of those times you could use it to learn, right? You could use it. It could be an audio learning. It could be a podcast. It could be your favorite audio learning, where your phone doesn't even need to be in your hand. Your phone could be in your pocket. You could be on a headset. I'm a fan of one bus set on my ear. I don't know if that was a good habit, but I am that type of person who have one Bluetooth on this side of my ear, no matter what I'm doing, to try to learn something, so that I don't waste too much time doing just one thing, depending on what I'm doing anyway, because there are times I don't have that. So I think this is all I want to say about this video for now, and there is so much more that I have that should be coming on up. And if you notice from my channels and every of my platform, you notice me talking about electric vehicle. You notice me, trying to share my projects. I just completed my project. I did I created an EV, an electric truck, mini truck, right? I created that, and I've been trying to share my journey bit by bit in all my social platforms, trying to use that as a motivation metrics, and also to build my community, because I really love to build my community. I really love to see that I am not the only one who's enthusiastic about the automotive industry. I really want to see other young guys trying to do great things in the automotive industries. And trust me, there's a lot that you can do in the automotive industries. There's so much opportunity in the automotive industry, and yeah, we are, we are creatives. There's only us understands what it means to really fix vehicles, what it means to be in that space, that feeling, right? So I am correlating a series. I am going to have a playlist that is designed to talk about combustion engine, and I am going to start with heavy duty combustion engine from scratch. and I'm going to create a playlist for that, as a guide for anybody who's looking to delve into the industry. Just so you see, it's mostly the same. Just so you can grab the knowledge, you can see, you can have the confidence. You can understand the difference between the spark plug and the injector system, the difference between the fuel system and the diesel system. So that's just the only difference from a car and a heavy duty, because a car uses spark plug and they uses fuel, but the heavy duties they makes use of the injection system and diesel, right? And there are other ones that makes use of gases like the CNG gases, the um, LNG gases. So all these are forms of injection system that actually help move the motor, but they are pretty much the same. They are right. We're not going to talk about the LNG, the liquefied natural gas system. We're going to get to those parts in the pro level, and the most important is the diesel injection system. It's everything. It's the Indomie. It's the real deal. So when you get to that space, when you get to that feeling, you start loving it, right? So I'm gonna see you on the next one, and don't forget to hit a like on this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. I love to hear what you think about this video. I love to know what you want me to talk about, right? I can further share about my journey if that's interests you. Or if you have a question or you need me to guide you on anything on navigating, feel free. My inbox is very much open. Comment, say something, and I'm gonna try to leave a link to my social media handles through this review, through this video, so you can connect with me through that place, or through my podcast. My podcast is spread out everywhere, so it's easier to kind of reach me through my podcast and my YouTube. And so till next time, I love you all. Bye bye.